What's different about building trust with a therapist over a screen versus in person? And can that trust be as impactful or as deep?
I'll chime in. For me, this comes down to one distinction: access is not the same as connection. A screen can give us access to someone, but trust still has to be built through presence, consistency, listening, safety, and the feeling that the person on the other side is really with you. I often say hearing is not the same as listening. Someone can hear enough to respond while being distracted. And I say active listening says that I'm here with you in this moment. And I also say your presence is a present. So I do believe deep trust can develop virtually, but the technology cannot create the relationship.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And just to kind of build on that, like that trust ceiling, it isn't necessarily lower, but the path to get there is different and it requires more intentionality, right? And in person, like we build trust through like implicit cues, right? Someone holds that space physically, the waiting room, being witnessed when you kind of walk in. It's a little different when you're behind the screen, right? Because you lose a lot of that nonverbal, that embodied layer. And then for Black clients specifically, in my experience, it's just that the screen could lower some barriers, right? We have like privacy and things like that, but it can also raise other things, right? Because it is harder to build that relationality, that community rooted trust that's culturally centered to a lot of the care within Black communities. And then it's just a little different when you're being witnessed and kind of held within a physical space than just on a webcam, right? But again, the trust can get there, but it does take a lot more illicit relational labor, I guess, from the clinician, and then building that foundation for everything else. But again, it's not impossible. But yeah, you have to kind of have that, and then just thinking about how sessions are kind of structured. How are you as a clinician gonna be able to build that and get to that point?
I agree with the both of you. I think that using webcams and video, as helpful as it is, you do have to work that much harder as a clinician to build that rapport, right? Because we have to work hard to build rapport no matter what, even in person. But with telehealth, is that much more effort required on our part to try to build that rapport and that trust. But it doesn't mean that at the end of the day that it won't be able to be built, right? It's not impossible. It's just that we have to work that much harder to build the rapport with our clients.
Yeah, and to expound upon that, I think that we have to be more creative when we go into a virtual space. I'm a therapist and I provide group therapy, and so I had to transition into a remote setting because the building that my office is in, lost power because of a thunderstorm. So we had to like transition into a virtual setting, and the clients who are normally engaged, they were like, I'm not really engaged this time. So, you have to provide validation. Like, I understand, this is a new normal for you, but what can we do to help you become engaged? Do you need to be like in a quieter room or, what can I do for you for us to feel that connection so you can get what you need out of this session? So yeah, it's definitely a lot of work and innovation that comes in with that.